Hello, I'm Paola Sztajn. I'm a professor of mathematics education in the Department of Teacher Education and Learning Sciences. And this year I also serve as a fellow in the Office of Research and Innovation. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Mladen Vouk, our Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation, to learn a little more about research at NC State this year. Hi, Mladen.
It is a pleasure and a privilege to have the opportunity to talk with you about the NC State Research Enterprise.
So thank you, Mladen. I want to start by asking about what I think it's on everybody's mind, like the pandemic. So how is the Office of Research and Innovation supporting faculty whose research or scholarship have been impacted by COVID-19?
So the pandemic basically shut down all but essential research operations sometime around March 18th. And from day one of that happening, we have started working on ways of reopening the research in a safe way by managing the density of the people in the labs, by asking people who can work from home to work from home, and by ensuring that everybody has the appropriate personal protection equipment and sanitation tools and so on. We have basically by now reopened our research completely. It's nearly at the pre-COVID-19 levels, and we have developed safe paths for research to continue, and currently we have not had any community spread, and so the measures which we have in place work and the research laboratories are safe. We know that these things are working not only because we don't have any community spread, but because our research expenditures are going up, and we are essentially leveraging our research that the research enterprise doesn't get hurt by the pandemic. Now, we are extremely proud of our faculty who have spent a lot of effort trying to fit into the constraints which they have been given. They worked shifts sometimes, they work from home, those that can, and we are very aware of the potential problems that COVID causes, particularly if they have small children at home or if they have to take care of someone. Advisory committees are bodies such as University Research Council, Research Leadership Academy, and University Research Research Operations Council. And those are looking at and have committees that are looking at what we can do for the faculty long term to try and alleviate the pressures that they're under currently under the COVID constraints.
And staff.
Staff is absolutely included into this. And students, of course, university as a whole other group of people who are looking at how to alleviate the pressure on the students, because everybody is under this COVID fatigue stress, and everybody needs help. And so university is really actively working to resolve that.
Every challenge also brings opportunities. So I'm wondering, what are some research opportunities that resulted from the coronavirus pandemic? And how has the research landscape at NC State been impacted by it?
There are many opportunities. But one of the things that we are very proud of Wolfpack community is that once the pandemic struck, they were quick to answer and help with the procurement and development of the personal protection equipment, things like face masks, face shields, hand sanitizer, and in some cases in the beginning, they actually donated the PPE that they had to the frontline health workers. And of research, our Office of Research and Innovation has actually compiled a website on which you see the history of how the the pandemic management has been done by us, and another website which lists opportunities for research in the top where the topic is COVID-19 related issues. We have actually had a number of successful grants funded, and a couple that are perhaps worth mentioning is the funding they have received from NIMBLE, which is a manufacturing institute that has stepped up and has produced a call for proposals related to COVID-19. And one example is production of N95 masks and surgical masks of high quality that is being done by Nonwovens Institute at NC State. And the other one is our Poole College of Management, whose researchers have stepped up and they are looking at the supply chain for test kits, which was a real problem at one time and probably translates into the vaccine distribution issues that might come up as well. So,
yeah, wow, those are fascinating.
We also have faculty who are experts in disaster recovery and disaster issues, and they are working with Research Leadership Academy to actually have meetings with faculty and within to see what we can do to help everybody and help relieve the situation. And we have lunches that are being hosted during the research week that's coming up to feature faculty members working on COVID-related topics.
What is the budget likely to hold in the next year?
So let me start by first of all saying that fiscal year 20 research performance in terms of funding and proposals has been phenomenal. Faculty have sent a record number of proposals out, or actually the record amount of funding requested, and have received an equally large number of funded proposals back. Now, this year, which starts fiscal year, which starts in July, we have been really productive when it comes to the proposals. Faculty have sent out proposals worth more than 100 million more than at the same time the year before. And the amount of grants coming back, funded grants, is also close to what it was last year. So I think that and F&A and everything else seems to be in good shape when it comes to research. Certainly research enterprise has experienced some losses, but I think those are relatively small compared to some of the other enterprises that we have and some of the impacts COVID has had on in other places. The losses in terms of some agencies have not sent the money in because they may have funding issues. We also don't have expenditures at quite the same level. It's slightly down because travel isn't there, and we are probably not funding all the students that we would or could were the students here. But things seem to be catching up. So I'm actually quite optimistic about the budget, the research budget.
How about in terms of F&A, since that impacts colleges more directly?
Well, right now the F&A that's coming in is slightly lower than it was because I just mentioned of the reduced expenditure than it was last year this time. But I still think we will more than meet the budget. And I expect that there won't be any impact, noticeable impact anyway.
Can you tell me how you see the role of research in the upcoming university strategic plan?
So the research is very prominent and explicit in the university's strategic goals. And the input that we have received from the research community, from University Research Council, from Research Leadership Academy, from Research Operations Council, from others, in personal conversations, in groups, all of that has been collated and has been given to the research, to the strategic planning committees, and that information has found its way into the goals. And they are still being developed, they are not done. I expect those to be sent around sometime in the next month or so. The Office of Research and Innovation is also working on its research or its strategic plan. And that one is also still being worked on. And we expect for that to be done also within the next month or so. At least a draft that will be circulated around. And if you remember, we also have strategic research areas that we have developed over the last 2-3 years, and those are being discussed with the stakeholders, and if we need to update them, we will do that.
That is excellent. I want to finish up asking you, what are some accomplishments and initiatives for research at NC State that you are proud of during this year?
So there are many. Too many to really list here, but I'm going to try and list some. And I'm aware of the fact that I'm not doing justice to all the other ones that I won't mention. We have, for instance, a very promising initiative with 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg. We have always had relationship with them, but we are now trying to formalize that further. And we hope that that's going to be finalized in the next few months. And that'll offer some really interesting opportunities to the researchers and students, but will also help modernize U.S. Army. And so for us, it's very important. We have another initiative that was called Data Science Initiative for over the last 5 years, which is now maturing, has matured. And we hope that that's going to go to the next phase that could end up producing something like School of Data Sciences. We are working very closely with the Provost Office to see whether something like that is feasible and viable. And it's going to involve a lot of interesting relationships with companies and everybody else. A good example, for instance, of a related initiative, for instance, is the College of Education has received about $6 million from the Labor Department to produce training, advanced training in artificial intelligence for workers from different companies, so they would actually refresh their pool of knowledge and be competitive in today's. And that is something that's related to data literacy, AI literacy, which are so important for the next generation of not only students, but also of the next of the workers that need to keep up with the technology that's going on.
And all this in data science is very interdisciplinary, right?
Very much so, yes, because everything that we do involves not just the scientists who do statistics or analytics, but also involves domain experts in various areas, from traditional engineering to social sciences to agriculture. Data science is just about everywhere, and it's very hard to do anything today without that. And in the future, to do anything without some AI assistance. So all of those things are probably the future of what we need to learn, teach, know, proliferate. So there, it's worth mentioning that we have 2 new buildings on campus. One is the Fitzwillard building that has just been occupied, and that's next to the library here. And another one that's coming up on Centennial campus is the Plant Sciences building. And as part of the initiative to make the, as you mentioned, interdisciplinary component very important and obvious, there is actually seed funding that Office of Research and Innovation has developed in collaboration with colleges and others, that's funding 4 projects that'll provide seed researchers, if you like, in the new building. And these projects are concerned with crop resilience, concerned with improving monitoring of crops for health, and in general, a combination of technology and next generation understanding of how to do precision agriculture and similar things. The term that we use is GRIP for PSI in this case. Mm-hmm. That's the name of the initiative. But we already have 2 very impressive large-scale initiatives moving along. Both are funded by Nordisk Foundation, one by 30 million and the other one by 27 million. And those 2 are concerned with biopharma and improving next generation biologics, one, and the other one is concerned with crop resilience. So we have large-scale efforts already in place that are looking into the future, very much so. We also have an interesting initiative that has to do with 5G technology. Everybody is into 5G technology nowadays. And we have a large NSF grant, 24 million, that is looking into the performance of 5G technologies, particularly where it relates to UAVs. And right now what they're doing is building the infrastructure, and then it'll act as a test bed for not just our researchers, but the researchers over the whole country. So there are also many other accomplishments and accolades that we have received. One such set are 9 NSF career scholars. We have received early career development awards for 9 of them, which is great. We do actually regularly, our proposal development unit holds workshops to teach faculty how to write career proposals, and it's paying back. Mm-hmm. So this is great. One of our National Academy members, Dr. Ligler, recently received the prestigious National Academy of Engineering Simon Ramo Founders Award, which is fantastic. And we have 3 new National Academy of Inventors on campus as well, which is fantastic. We have a number of other large-scale grants that we have received. And we have one entity called Non-Women's Institute, I think I mentioned that already, that has developed new materials for filtering that are exceptional and can be used for both N95 masks and surgical masks. And for that, they have received recently an award called the RISE Innovation Award. As I said before, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to talk to you about the NC State Research Enterprise.
Thank you, Mladen. We hope that everyone will join us for the rest of the week for the activities of the Research Week. And we continue to look forward to a successful year for research and innovation here at NC State.